ATACMS missiles to target airfields used by Russia in response to the invasion, a decision that, if approved, could allow Kyiv to hold part of Kursk for some time. The gas metering station Ukraine controls is about 8 kilometers inside Russia, according to Zelensky's advisor. On Thursday, gas was still flowing through Sudzha, the last operational shipping point of the pipeline that transports Russian natural gas to Europe via Ukraine. The station is unlikely to be used as leverage, as the pipeline still passes through Ukraine, and Kyiv could cut off the flow at any time. Ukraine wants to cut off Russia's energy business in Europe, despite receiving lucrative transit fees. Meanwhile, Russia's National Guard said it had stepped up security around the Kursk nuclear power plant, located about 65 kilometers northeast of the city. Russia's top military commander, Valery Gerasimov, told Putin the Ukrainian offensive had been stopped. However, Russian military bloggers criticized the troops for poor border fortifications and the loss of Sudzha. Meanwhile, an Austrian military analyst claims that the Kursk operation could strengthen Ukraine's position in potential negotiations. Ukrainians are uncertain whether American support will remain unchanged after the U.S. elections in November. A few months earlier, the Ukrainian armed forces lacked almost everything, not only artillery ammunition, but also anti-aircraft missile systems for air defense and combat aircraft, attack helicopters, armored and mechanized vehicles, and even company cars. Even the supply of artillery ammunition from the United States after November of this year is also uncertain. Deliveries from the EU are years behind schedule. It seems that official Kyiv is fed up with all this to the point where it has chosen something else. He did something similar to what U.S. Navy Admiral David Farragut did during the Battle of in Mobile Bay in 1864 during the American Civil War, when he gave the famous order, "To hell with the torpedoes, full speed ahead." A Ukrainian general staff source told The Economist that a Russian seizure of the Kursk NPP is unlikely. Reports suggest that Russian military commanders believe the offensive in Kursk aims to capture Kursk NPP in retaliation for Russia's occupation of the Zaporizhia plant. A Ukrainian general staff source suggested this is unlikely, as it would require advancing 80 kilometers from the border and deploying larger forces. Without a properly organized force, we could repeat the mistake the Russians made north of Kyiv in 2022. We cut off their lines, and they became easy prey, he said. An intelligence source says Ukraine was reassured by early successes of the operation, which has paralyzed Russia. Now Russia is using elite soldiers in a dangerous way to stop the offensive. On the other hand, Ukraine advances only where it is strategic. The Russians are making some very stupid mistakes, and it all comes down to their corrupt vertical leadership that favors good news over the truth. The invasion of the Kursk region, which followed the failures in Kyiv, Kharkiv region, and Kherson, is the fourth major failure of Russian generals in mechanized maneuver warfare. Now we have options, and the Russians know it. The general staff compares it to a game of chess. Ukraine's next moves depend on Russia's response. Will Russia shift reserves from Kharkiv to focus on Te? The Donbas offensive, where small Ukrainian forces are targeting Pokrovsk. Relieving pressure in another city might be the goal. They'll either send more forces or not, allowing us to continue advancing. The goal may be to create a buffer zone on the border, similar to Russia's recent efforts in the Kharkiv region. It may even become a bargaining chip in some future contracts. An intelligence source says Russia prepared a strong position, but now struggles to defend it. Any new Ukrainian advance on Russian territory would be hard to hold and a significant embarrassment for Vladimir Putin.